Response video, reaction video to one of Jones R999's videos. Really, you can't just ignore this shit. And this is something I'll be explaining to the judge or the jury, whoever I get. That people can make these accusations. They could just throw them out into the air, and then a person is going to be obligated to defend themselves again. So they're going to have to waste their time to explain why the false implications, the insinuations, the implications of what somebody else has said are false and wrong and unfair and stupid and fucktarded. And so this is a video that I'm not making because I need to make it. No, I'm making it because some asshole has decided that he's going to make his YouTube career just tearing apart somebody, ripping at them. Alright, and he doesn't do it in any kind of legitimate and decent and honorable way. No, he does it in a dishonest, manipulative, distortive, propaganda way. So we'll go through the list of this bullshit that was in his last video. And but first I'll say to you, from now on, channel policy is going to be, if you're going to comment on any of my videos, you have to preface your comment. You have to waste some of your 500 characters by saying Jones R999 is a useless human being and I have blocked him. So you have to put that first, and then you can comment after it. And if you don't do it, I'm just going to delete your comment. It's that simple. I don't really like your comments much anyway, so but anyway, so that's going to be the new policy. There's nothing else you can do really. I will block anybody I see comment on his videos, the same old smear. Subscribe to him, I'll block you if I see it. I mean, it's just so hard to find it. So all I can do is control my page, my channel. And so everywhere on my channel, I'll do whatever I can to say, no, I'm not going to put up with this bullshit. It's an unfair fight. They're cowards. They won't show their faces. It's just nonsense to have to make videos in an atmosphere where the competing noise doesn't have to play by the same rules and doesn't have to respect anything. Who's going to have any incentive? By what rationale would somebody share anything vital or important on this YouTube if this is going to be what you're vulnerable to, if this is the risk you have to take, that some fucktard is just going to make shit up? I mean, it's just nonsense. Alright, so anyway, the first thing, he picked on the little part where I had the picture of me when I was 6 years old, talking about how I wasn't too thrilled with a cold lake full of sturgeons. First, Jones, it's a Canadian lake, okay? There were sturgeons in the lake. When I was 6 years old, I didn't even like drippy ice cream cones, okay? I was a real Felix Unger when I was a little kid. I mean, what's had nothing to do with cowardice? I played with snakes, bugs. I even ate fucking bugs. So, I mean, I was pretty fearless at that time. And I didn't actually become afraid of life until much later. So, fuck you and that bullshit. I just had no desire to get into a cold, dirty lake. But anyway, next. So then you ripped on my car, okay? The first car I bought. And so, for context, I spent 6 fucking years earning the money for that fucking car, delivering newspapers every fucking afternoon after school. So instead of just playing and hanging out with my friends, no, I was walking 4 miles delivering newspapers. So fuck you and that accusation and that implication. I earned every penny that car was made out of, I fucking earned. You just are such a piece of shit. You really are. Anyway, enough of that. Alright, now let's get on to the meat-eating argument. Yeah, 10,000 years, I probably should have extended that to 20 or 30. The point is we didn't make meat a primary source of our nutrition until the last 10,000 years. Certainly we've been eating meat for maybe, a couple 100,000 years. But in percentage-wise, it was a low percentage of our diet. People have been living on grains, namely wheat, for a long time. Bread, that's the staple of the human diet throughout most of known human history. That's where the calories come from. And so, yeah, in the last 10,000 years, we've made eating meat a real science. Okay, we even have whole civilizations out there, been around for maybe 20,000, I don't know, Eskimos. They just live on blubber or live on some other animal product because they live in an environment where they can't live on anything else. The cooking argument, yeah, when I said sugar, okay, I reduced it too far, one step too far. The point is, cooking reduces, if you cook it enough, actually, you will caramelize it. You'll convert it pretty much into, sugar. But anyway, yeah, you knock the proteins into amino acids and other constituents that are basically easy for your metabolism to break down into sugar. The simple point is the fact is, without tenderizing the meat by cooking it, and reducing the size of the molecules you have to digest, meat is not readily raw meat is not readily digestible. Rose Bushy even made this stupid argument in his stupid goddamn comments in his video and said something like steak tartare delicious or some other kind of idiotic comment. Bullshit. First I would say, yeah, whoever thinks that's delicious, I've had it, it's bullshit. It's just vogue, let's be weird and strange. And it's ground meat, alright? It either has to be thinly sliced or ground. And traditionally it's eaten with raw egg on it, which is really disgusting. Egg yolk. But anyway, we're not fucking built. There's no other primates. We did evolve, Joneser, you asshole. Primates don't eat meat as a substance of their diet. You're not going to find any primates that the substance of their diet is meat or anything near the human proportions now. So it is something we have moved to because we're lazy, immoral, sadistic fucking pieces of shit. But anyway, yeah, and the reason why it tastes good, you dumb fuck, is because you do break down those nasty proteins into something semi-sweet. You stupid idiot. I don't know if we need to say much else. Yeah, so really it's about, for us to digest meat, we have to decompose it and tenderize it. That's just a fact. We don't have the frickin' hardware to chew it, and we don't have the the stomach to digest it. So you lose again the argument, you idiot. Okay, so this, he makes some ignorant comments. Yes, okay, I'm ignorant and uneducated, blah, 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 fuck you. And then he spends the rest of the time, well, here, I'll go to the cigarette one. He made some comment about the fact that I smoke cigarettes is the same as eating meat. Well, first, nicotine. I haven't seen any research papers saying meat is as addictive as heroin, but maybe you can find those. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. It's known by anybody who is a little bit educated and not an ignoramus. So it's a little bit different on that level. And secondly, when have I ever argued that anybody should ever start smoking cigarettes? Have I ever said that? No, never. I always say exactly the opposite. It should be a death penalty for anybody, third offense, selling a minor a cigarette. Okay, period. No one should ever start smoking cigarettes. It's an insidious addiction. Alright, so I've never defended it, you dumb fucker. And as I did clearly say in the meat eating video, is that, yeah, I don't, yeah, I can understand, I can appreciate you've grown an attachment to eating meat, but don't sit there and contrive defenses for it, and so you can pass on your silly addiction to somebody else. Alright, the possum argument. Yeah, I shouldn't have said North America. I didn't know if I did say North America, but anyway, northern latitudes is the point. Possums really aren't built for northern latitudes, for hard, cold winters. I read a survey on how they exist. They had a lifespan of 3 years, and any possum that reached that age, his tail was frozen off and missing some toes. So it's just a bullshit argument. It's an animal that's pushed its limitations, and it's living in shit. Human beings do the same thing. They live in the Congo or someplace else where they have malaria and all kinds of other hideous diseases and parasites. We aren't really built to live in that harsh an environment, but humans live there, okay? That's the way nature works. Animals do push their limitations, okay? They live in unideal environments for what they are built for, are suited to. And when that does happen, it isn't pretty. Fuck you. You don't know shit about evolution. You don't know shit about anything. You're just an old geezer. Fortunately, you sound like you have some emphysema or something, so maybe you're not long for this world because you're a caustic and sick individual. And then the homosexuality argument, but whatever. You want to call me a homosexual? Go ahead. It doesn't. What? That's, you're really a very progressive human being, aren't you? To think that should mean something to anybody. Just for the record, I mean, I've never had homosexual sex in my life. but I'm not opposed to it. I'm not afraid of it. I'm certainly, I'm not going to sit there and cower at the thought that somebody might perceive me as one. So if you want to perceive me as a homosexual, it's okay. I don't think I'm all that flamboyant, but you know, maybe I'll work on it. So fuck you. I've never worn a girl's dress. I've never done any of that shit. I mean, I don't have, you know, I really don't have a feminine side. You know, you probably do. You hang out with the real attractive women like Scanarf. You know, you can't even tell them from what, trees or pigs. But anyway, regardless, you know, you old wrinkled types all hang out together and resent anybody who has taken care of themselves physically in this world. So fuck you. Put yourself on camera, you piece of shit. So I can just sit there and spend at least one video a week just pointing out what an ugly, disgusting piece of shit you are. Come on, you coward. Grow some balls.